Hi guys, my name is Soumya Vijay. I'm going to explain you about custom settings in Salesforce. So, what is custom settings? Custom settings are nothing but a configurational table. So, as you know, with the database, we are relating the tables in database to the actual things existing in the Salesforce. So, the custom object we relate it to relational table, whereas custom settings will be related to a configuration table. So then, as the name insists, it is a configuration table. It means it will be used for controlling an application either with the organization level or with the profile level or with the user level. So you just use it as a static data which able to control the application. Okay, so what are the advantages? Why we are having two things like a relational table and a configuration table? What is the importance of custom setting and when the situation comes to have the custom settings? So for example, if there is a scenario where you want to have some data which is static all over the application, and for the, as you know, in the Salesforce the data is saved in the cloud. There is lot of limit constraints should be done on every part, so they will be called as governor limit. So number of the DML operations, number of the query done on the page, so these are all being to be considered when you are writing a page. So at this point, the governor limit plays an important role. So for the custom settings, if you come, the custom settings will don't have any limit or don't have any count on the governor limit when it is being acquired with the Apex custom methods. So first point is like you'll be choosing custom setting when this data is a static data which is not frequently being changed up, and there will be no a lot of number of records being saving, and this data has to be used on every pages to fetch and do something over that. So in these cases we'll offer custom settings. So as you told, Apex custom methods, if we use them to get the custom settings data, then they will not be counted on the kernel limit. Second point is, so if there is a scenario where you want to create a package is nothing but it's like an app in the mobile you can able to download from the store, Google Store or some other store. So these apps will easily can be launched from the Salesforce. The way you create an application, you can easily launch without anything. So in these packages, if something if that application should be used by multiple clients, say suppose client 1, client 2, client 3, client 4, if they want to use, and if there is some a static thing to be shown up to them, or some sections, say suppose section 1 should be shown to client 1, section 2 and 1 should be shown to client 2, then for the client 3 and client 4 they want to see respectively section 3 and section 4. So in this case you should not do any hard coding. In any of the programming thing, we try to reduce the hard coding thing. So in such cases, if the using this custom setting, we can able to render the section 1 and section 2 for the client 2 and section 1 for client 1 respectively using these custom settings. And how much you query on the custom settings using the Apex custom methods, the governor will not be counted in that part. So it is easy to query when and where it is required, and no need to bother about the governor limit. This is the main advantages why we are adopting the custom settings in place of custom object. The record should be less, and it should be a static data which can be used on every application, every in wherever in the application. Okay, so let's come how we define the custom settings, how we create the custom settings in Salesforce. So I have opened my org. So the moment you log in, you just click on the setup on the right corner. So on the quick find, use type custom settings. So it will be under build develop thing. Please click on. Okay, so here you can able to define the custom settings. As there is no custom settings being defined in my or, here it is showing like that. So I'm going to define a custom setting. So first you have to need a label or a name. Make it as a plural because you are going to save a set of records, not a single record. So object name, you can name anything. And settings, as the when it comes to setting tab, I can have to tell one more thing. So the custom settings, there are two types of custom settings. One is hierarchy, one is list. So you have to select which type you want to select. So I'll choose list for now. I'll explain what is the difference between hierarchy and the list. And the visibility, this is very important. Please select appropriate visibility, because once it is saved you will not be able to change the visibility. So I prefer for public, because if you are doing this custom settings being created in any sandbox and you want to do this custom setup to be deployed to other orgs, then it is best way to take a public and some discretion, whatever you want to have. Okay, save it. Yeah, so why we had two names is like this at the first level. When we click on the custom settings option, this is the name we'll be seeing. But if you want to use them in querying at the backend level, the thing you have to use is country code. So custom setting, custom object is similar. It has underscore c as a suffix to find out. Okay, so this is what we are. Now we are going to create the fields. Upon the fields, see, if you observe, you will not be able to create the pick list values, and will not be able to create the lookup fields. With these two options will not be there compared to this custom setting to the custom object. So let's suppose I just create a text. So I'll put the field name as country name. What would be the length of the record? So maximum length will be 255. So how much length you want to have in your application, you can give. For reference, I'll just give 200. And what if you want to have some description, or you want to have some help text? Help text when you come across is like when you over a field label like this. If this is the field label, say suppose this is the field label, or this is the field label, at the side you will have an information button like this. So if you over on this, it will show the data, what it means, as a short term of information. So you can provide that. Okay, so you can make this record as your required or unique. You don't want, if you don't want to have an duplicate values. External field is like you can able to use this as a unique field, or you can use this as like to relation to the normal database thing. We call it as a primary key, where you can able to search, right? In that cases you can use an external id. You make that as a primary key to be able to search in the external system or identify in an external system. So I'm not checking anything. I'll just go for a next option. save and new. The other thing I'm choosing as a text field. Sorry, the network is a little bit slow. So I'm selecting a text again where I'll be defining a country code. So length I'll prefer for almost the country code will be there within 3. So for now I'll make it as 3 and then I'll save it. Okay. So two fields I have created for the custom setting. I don't want anything to create again. Yeah. So the moment you search for the custom setting, you're able to see the custom setting being created up. What is the label, what is the visibility of it, what is the type of it, and the description that we have provided. And it is showing the record size. So there is a limit on the number of custom settings should be present. So it should only allow 10 MB. 10 MB of custom settings you can have in your org. Okay. It also depends on the type of org that you are using, whether it is a developer org, whether it is a professional org, whether it is an enterprise edition org, such way. So as it says, the limit is the records that you should can have is 303. For now, there is no number of records, so size is 0. So I'll click on this one. You'll be able to see the field data definition, the object, the list of fields, what are types, all this comprised to as a data definition. The records you are going to actually have is data. Okay, if you are if in further on the deployment process explanation I'll be referring as data definition or field definition, it will refers to the only fields, not the records. Okay, so if you click on manage, you'll be able to see the records being existing. For now there is no records. For reference I will be creating a record. Okay, so name of the record I'll make it as like country 1. Okay, this is similar. See, for the custom object or a custom setting, there will be one default field which will be populated. Option is there for custom object to make it as an auto number or just a text, whereas custom settings it will not have. Okay, so a name I'll refer to as Russia. So the country code could be RAS. Okay, the record I have said. So the records you'll be able to view, and if you go to back to the list, you'll be able to see the records being existing. Okay, this is what uh, creating and defining the custom settings. Okay, so next we'll go with I think these three things are done. How to access them? Yes. So what are the Apex custom methods that I have referred to use them for accessing the custom settings? Yeah. So there are three methods. Get, just a second. Before going to how to access them, I just want to give a brief introduction of the types of custom settings. So there are two types of custom settings. One is list custom settings, another is hierarchical custom settings. Okay, so the list custom setting is almost similar to the custom object because it will be have a row of records. Okay, just like a single record, it will be having a set of records like that. So it's like a single row will be comprised to a record in an Excel sheet as we refer. Okay, whereas in hierarchical custom setting, it is where you can define the static data, or you can define the static data at a hierarchical level. What are the hierarchical levels over here? The hierarchical levels are organization, profile, and user. These are the three hierarchical levels being used in the hierarchical custom settings. Okay, you can define the data in these three levels. The lower level is the organization. The next upper to that is the profile. Other upper is the user. So when to use the hierarchy, when to use the list. So if you want to have some static data without having some hierarchical things, you can use the list. Hierarchy comes into place where you want to provide some extra privileges for a particular or for a higher level of hierarchy. Say suppose if you are doing some sales management or say selling products, so if you want to provide some discount as a general, if you are providing a 5% of discount, that you will be saving at the organization level. And if you want to provide a still more discount, say suppose extra 5% or extra 10% discount to the set of users, or set of users uh, being managed by a particular profile, so you'll be able to provide that as at the profile hierarchy level, like to be chosen as a hierarchy custom setting, and you can provide that setting at the profile level. And if particular user has a maybe platinum user or maybe a golden partner, in such a way if you want to provide a user specific discount, it can be a 20%, it can be a 40%. So in such cases you will be using a user level of settings in that hierarchy custom settings. Okay, so 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 these two custom settings are existing in the system. uh, a bit based on the application needs, the custom setting will be selected. Okay, so next is we'll go with how to access them. So there are mainly three methods: get all, okay, dot values, other things get instance, get values, and then get org defaults. So how it is used for list custom setting, if you specify, if you take it up, so for the get all values, it will return a list of the custom setting. As I have created a custom setting with the API name as underscore underscore c, right? You have observed. Yeah, click on here, country code, this one. Okay, so you'll be using this as a backend, I have told. So this is how we use over here. List of country codes is equal to, you can name this variable as codes list is equal to the API name dot get all function and then values. This will provide you the list of custom setting records. Okay, you can go with, whereas these two, the get instance, get values, will be using a parameter to be passed to get the actual code of that particular record. So it will return a single set of record, single record. Say suppose country code underscore code of Russia, let's say suppose, is equal to country code dot get instance of Russia, right? So I'm fetching the code for Russia. You can similarly do as country code dot get values of Russia, right? Okay, so we'll go for another one. These things will happen in the list custom settings. Okay, so another we go with hierarchical custom settings, right? Hierarchical, yeah, hierarchical custom settings. Okay, so if we go with this one, right? So we have, as I told, it will be at the levels of hierarchy being defined. So first hierarchy I can define is for organization, right? Second is for profile level, another is for user level. Let's say suppose I have an object which has two fields. Say it as field 1 and field 2. Okay, as an example. Okay, so at the profile level I'll set as field 1, and again for field 2, and for a user I'll again the same fields, field 1 and field 2. Okay, okay, so for first one I'll just define um, true, or yeah, I'll just say it as true, or fluffy. Okay, fluffy. Second will be world. For this one, hello. Field 2 I'll not set anything. Okay, so it will be considered as null. Fine. So user level I'll set this as crazy, some data, just for an example I'm setting that. Okay, so for field 2 I'll not set anything, so it will be null. So if you go with If you use this method get or defaults, it will give a set of a record, a single record. So it will be called as just array. Okay, so country code a record score or default, just a variable name dot get or defaults. There is nothing to be passed with this. Okay, it will provide you the data as this data, field 1 as Palfi and world. So if you can use this arg defa dot field 1. It will provide you the data as Palfi when you are displaying it. Say like system debug is how we display the data. It's like a print ln or print how we use in C and C++, right? Like that. So I'm just naming it as org default details. Okay, so this is the data, you can get it. So this will be the data coming from here, field 1 Falfi and this one word. Okay, so next we can use this get values and get instances in this thing, in the hierarchical thing. How we use this similarly with this providing a value inside, but in this case we'll be passing a organization ID with which organization we are accessing, or a profile ID with which profile we want to get the data, for which profile we want to get the data, or a user ID. Similarly, I'll just copy from it. And again, it will return a single set of record, not any list. Okay, so guest instance, I'll take it considered as a org ID, or and then I'll take it as get values. Okay, okay. So both methods, if you are accessing with the org ID, okay, it will definitely return the same values that we access with the get org defaults. Okay, whereas if suppose we have used a profile and here also profile. Okay, so if we set like this, right, if we set like this, so this will return a different value. This will return as a guess. So what will be the data? It should come from this. So this data will be rendered using get values. So first field will have a hello and second field will have a null because it is not been set at all. Whereas if you in the case of get instance, it will check under a profile. So for the first field it will give hello, whereas second, if it is a null, it will go to its lower level. So for the profile, its lower level is organization. It will render with the world. Okay, so get values will provide the data for the particular profile ID, and where if one it is null, whereas the get instance, if the particular field is having null without any data is not provided, it will go to its lower level hierarchy to get the data. Okay, Similarly, in the case where we use the same methods, let's suppose we use the same methods type, but we change to you make it as a user ID. Okay, right? So we have already shown with the system administration ID or administration ID. So user ID, with the user ID, similarly as I told, for the get values it will provide the values from the user. So it is crazy, and second field is null, the same value we'll get. While in the case of get instance, we'll get the field one as crazy 2, where it has been data is set, so it's not null. In the case of field 2, it has been set as null, so it goes to its lower level. What is its lower level? It is profile, right? Even though there is no data is being set to field 2 level also. If it is data set over here, then it will be coming over here. If at the profile level also, the second lower level, its lower level also is not been set, again the lower level of the profile it will go. So the organization value world, it will be popped up. It will, that data will get the details. Fine. So this is the main difference between get instance and get values. So based on the requirements, which data you want to prepare, you will be able to access them accordingly. Okay. So this is the methods that we can use to not to make a count in the governor limit. So this will not have anything to do with the governor limit. You can call this methods, you can use these apex methods to call these custom settings wherever and whenever it is required in the page. Okay, so as I told, uh, so everything what we are doing will not be doing at the end org. So an application creation will have a different sets of orgs being created. The sandbox, and then the development org, and then another org. So such way, if you want to create at one org and you want to push this data to other org, there a deployment plays a role. So every topic that we are going to learn, we should at the end we should learn how those particular topic deal with the deployment, right? So deployment. So as I'll be doing another video like what are the types of deployment settings. For the namesake, I'll name it as change it. There's one way of doing a deployment. Another it is managed package, where we create a package and include all the components. Change set is like we create a connection between a two orgs, and then we add a component set from one end, and we'll take an outbound or take the inbound. Sending is like outbound and receiving is called inbound. So we take that components, send them as outbound and take them as inbound thing. Another is with the migration tools. There are a lot of migration tools coming in the market. Sorry, migration tools. For example, is Force.com IDE or Eclipse IDE, what we call. Second thing is Ant. Okay, so these two are the popular migration tools used by the Salesforce people. Okay, so in whatever way, in change search or the managed package or with the migration tool, you can only deploy the custom setting definition or data definition. Okay, not any fields. You will not be able to you cannot be able to deploy the records being inserted. Okay, you can only push the data definition, that is the object and its fields, to the other org, where the records you have to create them on own. So for the creation, it then may be manual creation if the records are less, or it may be a taking or using a data loader. You can export every records as you do with a custom object. Okay, so there comes a difficulty. So the disadvantage was So it was a very difficult if only data definition is more and not the records. So as the limit is only 10 MB, like 10 MB, you can able to create as a 300 records. Yes, you have seen the record size as 300 here. So you can able to create the 300 records, and if you have to do a export from one org to other org for data records. Once the definition is moved up, you have to fill the records. If the number of records, say suppose it is 300 or 400, and if you are doing a deployment over 2 weeks once, this type of say live application process, right, an agile thing or sprint thing where you want to deploy the things that you have been developed within 2 weeks once, like 2 weeks once, or if in a whole time, at the end if you are deploying, then it will not be a problem. But most of the projects will prefer for the sprint. Even though if it is not a sprint at all, we'll have a orgs for the testing purposes also, where you do something, where you implement something and you push to other org, and that org will be used by a test QA team to test the application, right? So in such cases, you have to do a deployment very frequently. And if you change a records in the custom settings, it may not be changed on all 300 records. It may change for 100 records at least, but identifying those 100 records and again pulling and pushing to other org, it's difficult. So rather than identifying it, we'll take a push of every 300 records and then pull of every 300 records and then push to it. So in such cases too, you have to do export and import to that other org every time, right? That was a disadvantage in the custom settings. Okay, so you can only migrate or you can only deploy the data definition, not the records. So here there is another version in the Salesforce have did another feature been implemented to overcome this, right? So as you know, the Salesforce will do a new feature, or it will change an existing feature for the user's compatibility or comfortability, or 3 releases in a year. So summer, winter and spring. So on 2015, in summer, spring or a winter release, they have invented custom metadata types. Okay, this has been invented in the 2015 spring or winter release, I hope. Okay, what it is like, it is exactly similar to the custom settings, whereas the only slight thing change is the data records what we create are nothing but the metadata type. Alright, if you are not known with the metadata type, metadata is nothing but a what do you call, an abstract data. Say suppose a person is there, you know him, okay, without any physical appearance of him or her, you'll able to identify him with some clues or with some identification, right? If that person is using a specs, or if that person with his physique, you can able to identify. So such abstract data on the particular object, we call it as a metadata. This will be used when you do a deployment using a migration tool, right? You'll be not actually deploying the object, you'll be deploying its metadata, right? So similarly, the data records what we creating under the custom metadata types are not only data, they're also metadata type, which means you can able to do a deployment over the data records also, right? You can do a data definition deployment as well as data records deployment, right? That was the disadvantage what we have in the custom settings, where you can have to push and then pull and push the data records, whereas this one you can able to do a deployment with the data definition as well as the data records, as both make it as a metadata type, right? If any questions are on custom settings, you can connect with me. Okay, hope you enjoyed. Thank you.